When you apply the magnetic marketing blueprint I'm going to give you today, you'll achieve more freedom and control in your business, allowing you to stand out on your terms and attract the clients that resonate with your values. This is the Dog Sitter's House podcast. Hey there, animal lover. Welcome back to the Dog Sitter's House podcast. Today, we are talking all about marketing. I'm going to give you my magnetic marketing blueprint that I use to help you stand out from the sea of pet sitters, dog walkers, dog boarding and daycare business owners, you name it, so that you can easily and quickly attract new clients without having to pay for a bunch of Facebook ads. And here's the best part. You can attract the clients that you want. You can attract the clients that you enjoy. I mean, how many times have you posted a comment on somebody's post looking for a dog sitter on Facebook, or maybe you put up your own post or something, or you have an Instagram page and you post on your own page all the time and you're trying to promote your business frequently, semi-frequently, and every time you do, you get crickets. Or even worse, you get the customers that just ask for a lower rate. I've mentioned this before, but I have seen competitors in my area post and comment on different Facebook groups 3, 5 more times a day. This to me means they must be attached to their phone 24/7. And I don't know about you, but that is not how I like to spend my time. And that's usually what happens. A lot of pet care professionals end up spending all of their time either taking care of the pets, doing the scheduling, doing the invoicing, and when they're not doing that, all of their free time goes to promoting. And I don't need to tell you, in this business, we have to work wisely. We have to be very efficient with our time. And if you don't have processes, if you don't have systems in place, then you are not going to be freed by your business. You are going to be trapped by your business. I've also seen pet business owners spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month on Facebook ads only to get the customers that are constantly haggling them for a lower price, attracting all of the bargain hunters instead of the customers who value and appreciate the quality that you bring. So, very early on in my business adventures as a home dog boarding and daycare business owner, facility, whatever you want to call it, I started applying all the marketing rules I had been learning already. Because if you've listened to my podcast, you know that I used to do life coaching and I did that virtually. So I would find customers online and I would give them, coaching sessions. Now, in order to do that, you have to learn how to find people online. You have to have some marketing skills. And I had zero when I started out, zilch. So I had to learn. I purchased a bunch of courses. I hired a couple coaches. I read a bunch of books. I followed a bunch of podcasts and I tried different things out. The thing is, I was learning all of this online digital marketing, and here I was building a physical business, a brick and mortar business, so to speak. So I had to figure out what works best that I could steal from these other industries and actually apply to my physical dog sitting business. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. After figuring out all of the things that didn't work, I finally came up with a formula that does work, and it works amazing every single time. Every single time I post a comment on somebody's Facebook post or something like that, I usually get 2 to 3 inquiries, if not more, minimum. And that's free. And I can do that as often as I want. I don't have to do it very often because of my recurring revenue system. I have a consistent client base that is repeatedly utilizing my services, and I know what's coming in every single month because of that. And I've had a really good client base for a while now. I am just starting to have a few of them move out of town, or a couple of dogs have passed, unfortunately. So I'm starting to open it up to a couple new clients to come in. But honestly, I'm getting more referrals and I don't even have to post and advertise myself very often. But when I have, so far, I've gotten actually 4 to 6 comments or messages in my inbox from one comment by using this magnetic marketing blueprint. More importantly, it's attracting people who are willing to pay my premium pricing. And I never get people who are constantly haggling me for price, which, as you and I both know, is so nice because you don't have to deal with the awkward conversation of why you can't lower your pricing. When you follow this blueprint, you're going to have more freedom in your life because you're not going to be a slave to the marketing and you're going to have more control over your business because you can, like I said, attract the right clients instead of the wrong clients more often, giving you more control over who you work with and what your prices are. When you apply the magnetic marketing blueprint I'm going to give you today, you'll achieve more freedom and control in your business, allowing you to stand out on your terms and attract the clients that resonate with your values. Multiple sources report that there's over 35,000 pet sitters in the US alone. Now, I'm sure this does not take into consideration all of your college students, your next door neighbors, the high school student down the street, the retired woman. I'm sure there's not an accurate count of that. But my point is this is a flooded market. Ever since the apps like Rover came out, we have seen an influx of dog walkers, of pet sitters, of people who do dog boarding and daycare from home, like I do. I was one of them. And here's the deal: in a crowded market, generic marketing gets lost. Nobody sees it, nobody pays attention to it. And you are spending so much time and effort in making it a flyer that looks great, a website that looks great, a business page that looks great, and you get nothing. Or you get a couple here and there, but not enough. Or you get the customers that end up being more headaches than they're worth. And you know what I'm talking about. And one of the reasons your generic marketing efforts are failing to attract people or high quality customers is because it fails to differentiate you from the sea of competitors. The blueprint emphasizes what makes you unique. What is your unique selling proposition, as it is called in the marketing world, the USP. And it helps you communicate it in a way that the client, the prospective client, resonates with. Of course, your service has to be an exemplary service. It has to be of high quality if you want to have premium prices. It has to have enough value that the price makes sense. And it has to solve the needs and the problems or the challenges or the desires of your ideal client. Think of a brand that has a cult like following. They don't try to attract everybody. They don't try to talk to everybody. They don't try to get everybody's attention, do they? No, they stand for something very specific for a very specific audience. And that is who they speak to, making it almost a magnetic pull to their promotions, to their advertising. And that's exactly what this blueprint does. Hence the name Magnetic Marketing Blueprint. It's going to attract people to you so that you stop blending into the sea of other pet sitters. You see, it's not about attracting any clients, as I have mentioned, but it's worth reiterating this because when you're first starting out, it's so easy to just want to speak to everybody because you think that's going to bring you the most number of clients. And so it's very paradoxical to actually narrow that down and speak to certain individuals only because fear, your brain is going to say, it's going to put on the brakes and say, don't do that. We're going to miss all these other people. And that is exactly why nobody hears your call. Nobody sees your posts. Nobody pays attention to your flyers. So, whether you are creating a flyer, whether you're creating your website page, your business page, if you're posting on somebody's Facebook group, it doesn't matter where you do this. You can apply this method to every single thing that you use for promoting your business. So let's dive into the first of the 3 pillars of the magnetic marketing blueprint. As I mentioned, a lot of pet care professionals make the mistake of speaking to everyone. They do not call out their ideal customer. And in our case, it's very interesting because our customers aren't just the humans, they're also the animals that they own. So, in truth, we need to call out the ideal pets that we prefer to work with. Now, you might be thinking immediately, yeah, April, but I love all pets. I love working with all pets. And I get that. I totally get that. So do I. I enjoy all dogs, all cats, all colors, all sizes, all personalities, all ages, all breeds, you name it. That's why we are dog lovers. We love them all. But chances are your setup or your ideal situation could easily be niched down into a specific type or a few types. And you can even go as far as to niching down into, say, I am providing dog walking for dogs that are reactive, right? That is a niche. You are working with reactive dogs only, or you could be working with large dogs only, 60 pounds and up, or a certain breed. It doesn't matter. There are so many ideas for different niches, and you get to pick that. That's the great thing about it. For me, if you've listened to this podcast at all, you already know I do dogs that are 35 pounds or less only. This is because I have very tiny dogs and I don't want a bunch of big dogs around here accidentally crushing my tiny little dogs or making them feel uncomfortable with visitors here. So I keep it at 35 pounds or less. This has turned out to be the most phenomenal, most advantageous marketing trick, even though it wasn't done on purpose to begin with. It was the best thing for my business for when it came to marketing because now every single time I post on social media saying boarding for dogs 35 pounds or less, I immediately attract all of the dog owners with dogs that fit that description. They might have scrolled past 3 or 4 other pet sitting posts, but as soon as they saw mine, they saw something that they identified with. And that's the goal. You want to pick out something that your people, your ideal client, whether it's the furry client or the human client or both, is going to associate with. And when they associate with that, when they identify with that, that is going to stop them from scrolling and get them interested in what else you have to say. Another bonus about this is chances are nobody else in your area is specifying. They're still trying to talk to everybody. They're still getting lost in the sea of competitors because they are trying to serve everyone in order to get as much business as they can. So they think that's what will happen. So when you come along and say, that's okay, you can have all of these other clients, you can have all of these other dogs or pets or whatever. I am just focusing on this specific type of animal or dog or somebody with this specific behavior, then you can not worry about all of the noise out there, and you can be the one who attracts all of the dogs in your area or all of the pets in your area with that specific niche, who identify to that specific trait. Meanwhile, nobody else is specifically attracting the same people, giving you a massive leg up on your marketing. Okay, number two of the three pillars of the magnetic marketing blueprint is a USP. It's a unique selling proposition. What is this? In the marketing world, this basically means, what do you do that makes you stand out? What's different with you or your service compared to all of your competitors? Because if you don't create anything special, it's the same experience as anywhere else, lowering your odds that someone will choose you over another sitter, over another dog walker, which is kind of like gambling if you think about it, right? If you go up to the roulette wheel and you maybe pick red one time and black another time to bet on, that's what the pet owner has to do. If they don't see anybody advertising in a way that makes them stand out from the crowd, that shows them this is going to be a unique experience compared to the other options, then they're just picking one out of the blue. They have no idea who's good or who's not good. Let me give you an example. I was recently at our local farmers market, and I'm walking around, and all of a sudden I see one of my fur clients attached to a leash, attached to a human that I didn't know. I did not know that human, but I knew the dog. Because I didn't know the human, I was like, well, maybe I'm wrong, and it's a dog that looks just like him, but I'm going to call her name. So I started calling the dog's name, Olive, Olive, and immediately she picked up, found me in the crowd, and started pulling towards me. She was so excited to see me. And of course, this got her human on the other end of the leash to turn around, like, what is my dog doing? And Olive came up to me, which was very unusual, by the way, because she's a collie and she's very skitsy. She's very unsure. She's very untrusting. She doesn't trust quickly or easily when it comes to humans. But if she knows you, then she's all good. You're right. She loves you. She's so happy to see you, just like any other dog. And so her human was like, who is this person? Because my dog is never going up to other people like this. This is crazy, right? And so I immediately say to her, I'm her pet sitter. I'm her dog sitter. And then, of course, the lady who's attached to the dog, her mother comes walking up from a booth that she was at. And that's who I know. That's who I recognize. And I say, oh, hi. And I come to find out who was holding the dog is her daughter. But her daughter's a grown adult. She looked like she was maybe in her 30s or young 30s or late 20s. And so she's a grown adult. And so she starts saying to me, the daughter goes, oh my gosh, you're April. Oh my gosh, and she, says, and she says my name of my business and says, that's who you are. And I said, yeah. She's like, oh my gosh, you have such an amazing business. It's so cool. I love seeing all the pictures and videos. You have such a unique place. The dogs look like they are having the best time. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is someone I never even met in person before. And yet, I made such a huge impression on them that when their dog or a dog comes to my place, they're going to have the most unique experience. I call it my doggy Disneyland because we literally make it like Disneyland. It is so much fun for the dogs. It's so engaging for the dogs. They get all of their needs met, right? And so we do this so that Of course, the dogs love it and they get all their needs met, but also we record a lot of it and make sure that the owners actually get to see the experience their dog is having when they visit. This makes it so unique. Beyond the service, beyond the different things, the games, the stimulation, the engagement, the walks, the environment, you name it. Beyond all of those little details, they get to see all of that, but they also get to see how their dog is in such an environment. And what they see is their dog happy. What they see is their dog getting things they can't get anywhere else. So for me, I specialize in socialization. Yes, also specialize in making sure, like, a part of our unique selling proposition anyway, is making sure all of the dogs get all of their needs met every day that they're here. That means a good long 2-mile walk around a lake, a huge, beautiful lake. That means some mental stimulation like games and or basic training commands that we practice, or you name it. We're always trying to mix it up and add new things, as I'm sure you are. But when you are advertising yourself, if all you say is doggy daycare, then it just sounds like a traditional doggy daycare. A lot of doggy daycares, they don't have toys. They don't take them for walks. They don't do basic training. A lot of doggy daycares are just a box of concrete with a space to go out on fake grass and a couple of ramps or steps or pools to hop around on. And the dogs are overwhelmed with all the dogs there, right? So when you're a home-based doggy daycare place, or maybe you're a small boutique place or something, and you're offering all these extras with the package, with your service for everybody without additional cost, even if it is additional cost, you need to highlight that in your promotions because that is unique. That shows that you provide a different experience than everyone else. As I mentioned, I specialize in socialization, and we don't shy away from using toys or even chew sticks sometimes, or giving treats to each other in a group. We make them all sit, we make them all down, we make them all leave it, whatever the case may be. And so we don't shy away from that because part of our service, part of the appeal and the benefits to our service is that when clients bring their dogs to us, their dogs get to learn how to behave like proper pack members. And this is my true unique selling proposition. Because when they're proper pack members, it's a lot easier to have a dog that you can take in public places or to friends and families' houses with other dogs because your dog knows how to properly communicate, properly act, properly behave around other animals. So think about what makes you and your service so special. Yeah, you might have some certifications, you might be a dog trainer, you might be a vet tech, whatever. Those are great, okay? But don't just list that. You have to actually show the customer in your advertising how that applies to them and what good it does for their animal. This way, instead of competing on price or hours being opened or something like that, you stand out on your terms. This positioning transforms your marketing from being a broadcast about your services, screaming it out on the corner, come get your news, get the daily news, 5 cents daily news. Like, you're not doing that any longer. You're being the lighthouse, and your light is attracting your ideal customers, attracting customers who would love or have been seeking your specific solution. You create an irresistible and undeniable service that people can't refuse. Because, as I mentioned, again, it is not about attracting more clients, it's about attracting the right clients, the ones who align with your values, who align with your methods. Because when they do, they're not worried about the price, they're worried about the service. And if you provide that, then everything else goes smooth, and they're not asking you to decrease your price because they can't go down the street and get the same service from the neighbor as they can from you. And what's really great about this is they love your service so much because you have such a unique experience and provide unique benefits that they end up raving about you to everyone else they know. They're going to tell all of their friends and family about you. What I love about this is it really creates what's called raving fans in the marketing world. These are people, customers who rave about you to all of their friends and family, giving you more referrals and further reducing your need to constantly market your services. And ultimately, this leads to more fulfilling work to be able to do what you really love and really provide a service that you see is making a difference in people's lives and their animals' lives beyond the general care, which creates stronger client relationships and a much more positive business environment so that you stay in love or fall back in love with your business. The third pillar of the magnetic marketing blueprint is benefits. You have to show the benefit of what you're offering. A lot of people make the mistake of just listing what they do. You look at any flyer or post on social media of somebody who's advertising, promoting their pet care services. What do you see? You see people listing dog walking, pet sitting in client's home, doggy daycare, home-based doggy daycare, um, grooming, certified dog trainer, certified in CPR, bonded with insurance, and those things are great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, those are all it's all valuable information that you want to make sure people know if you fit that description. However, it is not showing somebody why they should buy from you, what good it's going to do them. Here's one of the secret rules of marketing: people do not buy based on logic, they buy based on emotions. Now, we like to believe that when we buy something, we're doing so because of logical reasons. But the case is often that we're buying because it gives us a feeling. It gives us the feeling of something that we're desiring to feel. Now, we all like to think that we're buying from a place of logic and not buying based on emotions. But the fact is that we desire to feel a certain way, whether it is significant, whether it is belonging, whatever it is, what we buy usually is promising or gives us the idea that it's going to make us feel that emotion that we're looking to feel. Then our brain goes back and justifies the purchase logically. And this all happens in a split second. We don't even realize that we're buying based on emotion first. I couldn't remember a few of the books I've read in the past, so I looked them up and have a little summary here for you. I highly recommend reading these books if you object to the fact that people buy based on emotions, and it's going to be a real eye opener for you and help you understand how to communicate in your marketing so that you attract the right clients and as many as you possibly can. The first book is called Predictably Irrational, and that's by Dan Ariely, Ariely. What this book does is it uses behavioral economics to explore the hidden forces that shape our choices. It argues that our decisions are far less rational than we believe, and it reveals how context, emotions, and other biases lead to predictable patterns of irrational behavior. The other book I would recommend is The Intuitive Customer by Colin Shaw and Ryan Hamilton. This book builds on the work of the author before and another author, and they explain how marketers can better understand consumers' instinctive gut choices. It shows how focusing on a customer's emotional needs rather than on their logical ones can lead to a more effective customer experience. So, there you have it. Make sure you pick up those books and check them out because it's really fascinating when you dive into the psychology of marketing and learn just how much of it is all based on emotions. Maybe your unique experience is that you are a dog adventurer who takes dogs in large packs off leash and hikes them in the woods or to a lake or something like that, right? And there's lots of benefits to that. So sit down, list out those benefits, and figure out how those benefit the customer, the human, and how they benefit the animal as well. And start highlighting the largest benefits that you think your customers would emotionally relate to the most. For example, I promote that by having their dogs come to me for daycare, they get to learn how to be a proper pack member. And the benefit of that is that they can take their dog anywhere. They can take their dog in public, they can take their dog to the family's homes. It doesn't matter. How many people love to be able to take their dog with them wherever they go without worrying about their dog being that dog? You know what I mean? And they can't because their dog gets reactive when they see other dogs, or they can't trust their dog from misbehaving. By highlighting the benefit to the owners, like, hey, having your dog come here, they get to learn this proper pack behavior. Now you can be that pet owner who can take your dog everywhere you go. And who doesn't want to be able to do that? And how many other pet sitters or doggy daycare and boarders out there are promising that? Right? I don't know of any promising that. I don't know of any in my area promising that. I'm sure there's somebody somewhere, but that is what attracts people to me. They see the benefit in it. That gives them that emotion that they're looking for, that connection, that love, that joy, that pride. Because when they can take their dog to a public restaurant and sit there with their dog behaving so well, and around other dogs and not pulling on the leash and not snarling, growling, barking at other dogs, they can feel proud. And that is an emotion they like to feel. And that's it, folks. It is that simple. Those three pillars, having a niche, having a unique selling proposition, and pointing out the benefits instead of just the service or the certifications or what's often called the features. If you do these three things in all of your promotions, if that is on your website or your social media, or if that's what you put in your Rover profile, or if you put a comment on somebody's post on social media and you want to say, hey, you're looking for a dog sitter. I'm one over here. Make sure you hit those 3 points: your niche, your unique selling proposition, and the benefits of using you. What makes you stand out? And when you do that, you're going to attract higher quality customers as well as customers that you enjoy working with the most. And you can say goodbye to being attached to your phone 24/7, trying to be the first person to comment on somebody's post so they pick you. Trying to win that game of who gets it first, who's the quickest to act. Stop worrying about being the early riser. Instead, be the person who shines. Be the lighthouse that attracts the customers to you easily and quickly every single time. If you found these tips helpful and something you can start implementing today, Then do me a favor and hit the thumbs up as a small token of appreciation. Or hit subscribe or both. Hey, even better, do both because the more engagement that we get, the more we can get this information out there to help other struggling pet care professionals. You don't have to worry about the competition because everyone can have their own unique selling proposition. Everyone can have their own niche, and you're not competing with them anymore. And I truly believe that in this world, if you have an abundance mindset, then you'll always see new customers. You're always going to have more coming in. If you expect more to come in, if you believe there's enough business out there for all of us, then that's what you'll get. That's what your reality will be. If you constantly believe that there's not enough customers, that you have to compete with everyone else, be cutthroat, then chances are you're going to be the one who experiences scarcity, who is struggling with finding new customers, who is having to discount their prices in order to bring people in. You get to earn what you deserve when you live from a position of abundance and you apply these three marketing techniques to all of your promotions. You'll get to see just how simple and easy it is. So until next time, happy tails to you.